You ever notice how every Hollywood adventure flick has that one scene where the hero's on some truck, jeep, or horse, standing tall, taking the hits from the terrain like it's second nature?
Yeah, mate. Harrison Ford bouncing around in Indiana Jones, right? That bloke had no handlebar risers, but still looked like he was born standing up.
Exactly. But let me tell you, when you're on the Bear 650, trying to stand up on those stock bars and skinny little pegs, you feel less like Indiana Jones and more like some accountant awkwardly trying Zumba for the first time.
Oh, bloody hell, I know that feeling. First time I tried standing in my Interceptor off-road, my back was hunched, wrists screaming, and my boots kept slipping off those pencil-thin pegs. Felt like I'd signed up for torture, not adventure.
See, that's the thing. The Bear 650 is built to go anywhere. But if you actually take it off the highway and onto mud, rocks, or riverbeds, standing ergonomics become the difference between flowing with the bike and fighting the bike.
And that's where risers and wider pegs come in. Not fancy, not Instagram-worthy, but man, game changers.
Dead right. Today we're diving into these two underrated upgrades. Why they matter, how they feel, and most importantly, how they turn your Bear 650 from a comfy cruiser into a proper trail-ready partner.
So for anyone listening who thinks, I'll just manage with stock setup, hang on, give us a few minutes. You might change your mind after this.
Or at least
Chris,
save
I
yourself a
learned this
trip
the
to the
hard way.
physio.
Back in 2022, I borrowed my cousin's Himalayan for a trail ride in Coorg. First proper off-road experience. Coffee estate, mud tracks, red slush everywhere. And I thought, boss, I'll just stand up like those Dakar riders and look cool. Oh no, let me guess. Within 200 meters, my wrists were shot, my lower back was screaming, and I was wobbling like a drunk goat because the bars were too low for me, and the stock pegs felt like standing on two steel rulers.
Mate, that's every rookie's initiation into off-road riding. I had my turn in Wales, took the Interceptor 650 on gravel, which, by the way, is not meant for gravel, but we do stupid things, and I'm hunched over, helmet bouncing, arms stretched like I'm holding pull-up bars. I lasted 5 bloody minutes before sitting down in defeat.
That's the thing, right? When you stand on a bike, your whole body becomes the suspension. You're not just a passenger anymore. You're absorbing hits through your legs, shifting weight side to side, dancing with the bike. But if the geometry is off, if the bars are too low or the pegs too skinny, instead of dancing, you're wrestling.
Exactly. And wrestling a 230-kilo Bear 650 on loose terrain, not fun. That thing will win every round.
True. Now the Bear has decent stock setup for seated comfort. Great for highways, smooth for touring. But for proper off-road, standing feels like it's an afterthought. Your chest leans too far forward, elbows lock out, and your boots slip when there's muck. That's when fatigue sets in. And fatigue off-road is dangerous.
Tell you what, though, once you add even a 20-millimeter riser, it's like flipping a switch. Suddenly, you're upright, your back's relaxed, you can look further down the trail, confidence just shoots up.
Couldn't agree more. And combine that with wider pegs, something like 55-60 millimeter stainless steel ones, with serrated edges. Your boots actually stay planted. You're not tiptoeing, you're anchored.
You know what I compare it to? Stock pegs are like standing barefoot on Lego pieces. Wider pegs are like standing on proper tiles. The difference is night and day.
Scored. Lego pegs versus tile pegs. Perfect analogy.
And here's the kicker. People think risers and pegs are cosmetic mods. They're not. They're functional. They literally decide how long you can keep standing and how much control you've got when the ground turns nasty.
And trust me, when you're on a slushy climb, front wheel twitching, you don't want to be thinking, oh shit, my wrists hurt. You want to be thinking, okay, chest forward, throttle smooth, bike's got this.
Exactly. Standing ergonomics is about taking one more thing off
Risers
your
sound
mind so
simple.
you can actually
Raise the bars, stand straighter, ride longer. But the devil's in the details, no?
Oh, absolutely. People think I'll just slap on a riser and Bob's your uncle, but get it wrong and you're straining cables, messing up steering geometry and ending up worse than before.
Yup. On the Bear, most riders can go up by 20 millimeters without touching the clutch or brake lines. But if you're a tall lad, like 6'2" types, and you push to 30 millimeters or more, that's when you need to check the slack.
I remember on my Interceptor, I fitted 25mm CNC risers from Zana. Looked solid, felt solid, but I didn't check the clutch cable. First long ride, mid-overtake, I twisted the bars left and the clutch half-engaged itself. Nearly scared me shitless. Bloody hell. That's exactly why you dry test everything. Lock the bars left to right, check every cable. See if anything tugs or pulls. If it does, either reroute it or upgrade the cable. And let's not forget, cheap risers exist. You'll see 1200 to 1500 rupee aluminium blocks on Amazon. Mate, avoid them like expired chicken curry. Soft metal, bad machining, and if one bolt shears off mid-ride, you're eating gravel. Preach. The Bear is a 230 kilo beast. You want risers that can take the load. Go for CNC machine aluminium from a trusted brand. Zana, Motoren, Bandidos, all make solid kits in the 2500 to 4000 rupee range. Worth every paisa.
And installation. Don't just bolt them in and ride off. Use thread lock, torque it down properly, and recheck after 500 kilometers. These things settle in, especially after off-road vibrations.
Here's my 2 rupee wisdom. If you're mostly highway touring, 20mm risers are enough. You'll feel that subtle upright shift without messing with the cockpit. If you're trail hungry, push to 30mm, but make sure your cables are up for it.
And one more thing, mate. Risers don't just help when you're standing. Even when you're seated, they reduce wrist fatigue. I used to get this ache on long rides, gone after risers.
Exactly. You're not hunched, you're not fighting the bike. It feels like the cockpit was designed for you. And once you stand on the pegs, you'll wonder why the hell you didn't do it sooner.
Couldn't agree more.
People
Small
underestimate
upgrade,
pegs.
massive difference.
They'll spend 20 grand on exhausts to sound sexy at chai stops, but ride trails with stock toothpicks for footrests.
Exactly. The Bear's stock pegs are fine for city and highway, but stand up for 5 minutes on rocks or in slush, you'll feel them digging into your boots. Pressure points, no grip, and your feet start sliding. And that's bloody dangerous. One slip while you're counterbalancing on a loose climb and the bike's gone sideways. That's why wider pegs are such a game changer. More surface area spreads your weight so your arches don't scream at you. Plus, serrated edges actually bite into your boots. With mud or rain, you need that bite.
I put 60mm stainless steel pegs on my brother's Himalayan 450 last year. Night and day difference. Standing posture felt planted, shifting weight side to side was smooth, and even after an hour of trail, my feet weren't cooked.
I did similar with my Interceptor. Got Motoren rally pegs with removable rubber inserts. In the city, rubber on, comfy and soft. Off-road, rubber off, aggressive serrations, brilliant grip. Paid around 4,500 rupees, worth every bit. And that's the sweet spot. Anything 50 to 60mm wide is gold. And installation is dead simple. Spring pin, washer, little grease, done in 10 minutes. But like risers, don't cheap out. I have seen 1,000 rupee knockoffs with soft welds. One good fall and the peg bent like soggy papad.
Yeah, imagine standing up, the peg folds, and suddenly your shins kissing the crash guard. Not fun.
One tip I'll add, angle matters. Even wide pegs should be aligned flat, not tilted. Some cheaper ones don't sit flush and that screws your balance.
True. And once you get used to good pegs, you'll realize how much they add to control. Bike feels less wobbly, more predictable. It's like your legs finally join the conversation instead of just hanging there.
Couldn't agree more. It's the difference between riding the trail
guys,
and
after
fighting
all
it.
this talk,
Nicely
let's
put,
be blunt. Risers and wider pegs, worth it or overhyped?
For me, absolute must-have. If you're only riding your Bear 650 on highways and posing at cafes, maybe you'll never feel the need. But the minute you start doing trails, broken tarmac, or long-distance hauls, both upgrades pay for themselves on the first ride.
Exactly. This bike is built for distance. But when you stand up, the stock ergonomics feel like Aadi tuned it for sitting only. Risers fix the reach, pegs fix the grip. Together, you go from wrestling the bike to flowing with it.
My first long dirt ride after fitting both, I actually enjoyed standing. Arms relaxed, back upright, boots secure. I wasn't thinking, bloody hell, my feet hurt every 5 minutes. I was looking at the trail, picking lines, smiling like a kid.
That's the point, no? Mods aren't about bling, they're about connection. When your body feels sorted, your head is free to enjoy the ride.
Practical tip before we close, buy quality, check cable slack for risers and grease your peg hinge. And don't forget, give yourself a day or two to adjust. At first, it'll feel odd. Then it'll click and you'll never want to ride stock again.
End of the day, the Bear 650 is already a beast. But with the right risers and pegs, it stops being just a motorcycle. It becomes an extension of you. That's when adventure riding gets addictive.
Well said, mate.
Alright, thumpers, that's it for today's Garage Talk. If you've modded your Bear or done crazy trails, write in. Tell us what worked. And remember, it's not about conquering the trail, it's about syncing with it.
And having the right kit under your boots and hands definitely helps.
Bloody right. Ride safe, ride far, and ride pure. Until next time, keep that common thump alive.